What's the deal, everybody? It's your boy Shane G. We are back with another episode of the Bar Exam right here on the Ethos Media Network. Before we get any further, please make sure you like, you share, and you subscribe for all the latest content. To my right, I think, right? I'm looking at the screen, so it's hard to tell. But to my right, yeah, I'm moving right. There we go. To my right is Eric G. What up, though?
What's the deal? What's the deal?
There we go. To my left, we have Mr. Marcus TV. How you doing, sir?
Yo, what up?
Yes, sir. Allie will be back next week. She had a conflict in the schedule. She's a very busy woman, so I'm taking her spot today. But before we get into the subject at hand, the ASAP Rocky trial and some of our favorite ASAP Rocky bars and lyrics and songs, Eric, Discovery. You have Discovery for us. Please let us know who we need to discover this week.
All right, artists, it's time to take control of your music career. Welcome to Smashes Distribution, where independent artists don't just release music, they break records. With engaged A&R support, customized artist roadmaps, and first editorial playlists, Smashes gives you the tools to stand out, not blend in. Ready to get your music heard? Get Smashes Distribution and start making real moves today. Visit www.smashes.co/distribution to get started. Smashes, distribution that develops. And then the 5 artists that I'd like to highlight today, a few of these singles just been previously released, and a few of them are maybe about a year or so old before they start cooking up some new stuff. So I just wanted to shout out the 5 following artists. Young Jordan with his latest single Pain out right now. Samad that is spelled with a $sign at the beginning. He has a song out right now called Night Shift on his latest project. Kevin Sinatra with his new single Circle featuring Hassani. Young Deji, who happens to be a Taylor Gang affiliate, who has a new single out on his latest project. The single is called Wicked. And a artist called Flea, who has a new record called Keep On out now.
That's what's up. That's what's up. We'll definitely be checking them out. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you follow us on Instagram for all of their tags. You know what I mean? We'll definitely make sure to tag them as well. So that way, you can follow those artists and, check them out before they blow up. You know what I'm saying? But, all right, let's get into it, fellas. Did y'all follow the ASAP Rocky trial like I did? Because I was following it.
Follow when you say follow,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's that R. Kelly line. Like when you say teenage, like as soon as it passed my head, that's what I thought of. Like when you say teenage, are you saying 19 or like? So when you say follow, like you mean keep up live updates or aware of it?
I mean, more than just aware of it. Like, when something newsworthy happened in court, you would go to figure out what happened.
So for me, I was aware. I did not follow it like I follow the Young Thug.
Okay.
That's funny because I feel like you're the one who first brought up the trial to us in the chat.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, I was aware, but I didn't like keep up with the date. Like Young Thug, I was looking every day for the updates to see what happened, who said what, like, or every other day. This, I was getting cliff notes. I was because, and the reason I kept up with it was because he had an opportunity to plead us down, and because of his what's the word I'm looking for? Sponsorships. Or no, not sponsorship / endorsements. If he would have taken the plea, he would have violated the morality clause in those contracts, and he would have had to forfeit the money to it. So that's why he fought it. Because if he would have just pled to a lesser charge, it was a violation. But with him fighting it, he was also fighting 20 years, 24, 30 years?
It was like 20. It was like 25 years or something like that.
Yeah, 25 years. So like he could have, like, don't get me wrong, I don't have millions of dollars, but to lose millions versus 20 years of your life, I mean, hindsight is always 2020. Clearly, he made the best decision. beforehand when you got to bet on yourself. That's why I was following it for that aspect of the case.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily what he did or what he was accused of.
I would say I started following it a lot closer once Relly started speaking. Once the whatchamacallit, the testimonies in court and stuff like that, once they started getting rolled out, that was really when I started paying attention, mostly because of how much of a spectacle I thought that Relly was putting on in that courtroom. I just it was one of those things that was kind of unbelievable at the time, because when you heard him reply back to the lawyers when they were cross-examining him, he just seemed like he just was totally unprepared for this moment. And it clearly showed in the results at the end, but it was one of those things that it was just fascinating to watch while he was actually speaking. It was like, wow, you're really replying with like a lot of like confusion and like trying to act like you don't know the story still, when it's like you're the one who is bringing this up on trial in the first place. So
you initiated all of this.
And not only that, but you can't have a bad memory from 2 years ago when it benefits you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't remember specific exact quotes and times and days and all of this when it hurts Rocky. You know what I'm saying? But then when you're cross-examined and they're like, okay, around that same time, did you say this and this and this? And you acting like you have no idea. And I don't remember. That was 2 years ago. And all. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's not credible then at that point. Either you do remember 2 years ago or you don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not saying that you remember every detail about your life, but for you to be able to remember the specifics to that level, you know, coincidentally, when it benefits you, your argument, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can only get away with that for so long. So there was that. There was the fact that so the whole situation, you know, just for anybody who wasn't following, basically A$AP Rocky and his former friend Relly, they got into an altercation in, I believe it was LA. And Rocky showed up with either a real gun or a prop gun. That part is what was decided in the trial. I think that was part of Rocky's defense. But they got into an argument, and allegedly Rocky let off some shots, and allegedly Relly got hit in the knuckles. He showed a picture in the courtroom, and it was like a regular knuckle scrape that you could get anywhere. So the police never found any shell casings at the scene of the crime, but Relly went back after the police did their search and found nothing. He went back and allegedly found some shell casings somehow. It turns out he went to a gun range around that same time that all of this happened, and he used the same type of gun that he allegedly got shot with. So, you know, you do with that information what you will. Because he's the one who provided, you know, the police with the shell casing. So again, you do with that information what you will.
Yeah, that was another major thing that when that came up, it was like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, because first of all, I'm not a lawyer, but I have employed legal services to keep my name as clean as daycare piss. With that being said, everyone has watched Law and Order. Some of this shit shouldn't even get past Dick Wolf.
Word.
Because how many times have we seen an episode of Law and Order and the DA, they say, oh, we need more evidence. So you mean to tell me that the police knew that this went to the gun range or a gun range and then magically had these shell casings that the police didn't find? Who finds their own evidence?
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Why did they even take that evidence in is my question. Like, why was that even ever considered to be evidence?
Yeah, I don't know all of the rules of law, but I know chain of custody.
Yeah. Also, did you know that A$AP Relly, well, I'm not calling him A$AP Relly no more, just Relly, he was, I believe he's involved with a civil suit with Rocky's lawyer at the
What?
same time that this is going on.
Yeah. That was
So
part of
if
the reason
Rocky
why.
takes a plea, so if Rocky takes a plea, then that strengthens Relly's case against his lawyer as well. So Rocky's lawyer had double the motivation to win this case because he had his own case against Relly for whatever their lawsuit was, and then the Rocky case as well. So he had all the motivation in the world to make sure that Rocky got off.
I wanna say this, but I want to say it, but still stay on target.
Yeah.
I appreciate right now Jay-Z's lawyer team because this shit is not. You see what I'm like? It's not even getting to a point of no or any point because it was false. It's not even getting to a well, remember when point. So that's all I wanted to say.
Well, the difference between that situation too is Rocky's situation was on video. There was at minimum an argument that happened on video. You know what I'm saying? Where there was some shoving and things of that nature. Now the shooting didn't happen on camera. There was no like real fight that happened on camera. Nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It was just, but there was video of a group of guys. You know what I'm saying? One of them was for show Rocky. The other one was for show Relly, and they was getting into it. You know what I'm saying? So that exists. So that's the only difference. Whereas like there's literally no evidence in the Jay-Z situation. Like even the girl's dad was like, I don't remember picking her up from no party when she was 13.
Right.
After, you know what I'm saying, the VMAs.
And I think I
like
would have.
I don't ever remember that happening. Like, so you know,
that's a pretty thing
that seemed faulty from the beginning. Because like I'm the same age as that girl. I was like, wait a minute, I was 13 in the year 2000. No way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
yeah, you wouldn't just forget picking your daughter up from a VMA party. That's not something you would just forget.
Yeah. So yeah, so you know, the other thing that everybody was pointing out to me was, now I've never been facing like this amount of time before, no shit like that, but they were saying that the plea deal was so much less than the potential sentencing that was another reason that Rocky felt comfortable fighting it. Because he was like, why would they only offer me 6 months on a plea deal if they think I actually shot at somebody or shot somebody? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm facing 20 or 24 years or whatever, but they don't think I did this shit, or they don't think they have a solid enough case, because why would they only offer me 6 months on a plea deal? So, Marcus, what do you think about that?
I mean, you know, there's a saying, you know, and it goes for the opposite way of, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. You know, anything can happen in a courtroom, and the wrong 12, like we always say in sports, right? Never leave it up to the referees. You know, if the referee makes a bad call, or you didn't, you know, get the questionable call, or 50-50, it could have went either way. You know, well, it was before that moment. There was also instances in the fight or whatever the sporting contest beforehand. So, like for me, I've never faced nothing with years of time. You know, at the it could have went another way. You know, I don't want to say it could have went another way easily, but it could have easily went another way. You know, had it not been, you know, the jury just could have screwed him. Maybe they didn't like Rihanna. Maybe he, you know, I
was going to bring that up too, actually. I'm glad you just said that. Like, do you think Rihanna being there swayed the jury to be like, Rocky wouldn't do that. He's Rihanna's dude. We love Rihanna.
I could definitely see a world where they
in
sway
LA
one way.
In LA,
I will say,
mind you.
Yeah, her presence standing next to him it put him over the reasonable doubt. You know, like, because if she, and I'm gonna say this on her behalf, her brand could have sustained and she could have taken the hit. I don't necessarily know if she could have. So I don't think she would put herself in that situation if, well, damn, I know you really did do this, and I'm not going to be sitting outside of the courtroom next to you saying you didn't do it, and then all of a sudden my face is a meme, and she wouldn't put herself out there like that if she would have known anything behind closed doors. Because with the exception of Beyonce, can we name someone else who has a more protected image?
Right.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
And I mean, on the artist side, like Rihanna protects her image pretty damn well.
Yeah.
Almost
Now
better.
she's her Beyonce,
Taylor.
Yeah.
Taylor.
So I
maybe
mean,
Katy Perry. They're kind of,
yeah.
It's like them though. Like it's a very select few, and they're almost like American royalty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's only a few though that are there.
You know what? I'm gonna throw her. I'm gonna throw two more names out there. I'm gonna say Vanessa Bryant.
Okay.
Yeah.
In her / Kobe protection.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll even throw the Kardashians out there. Now, the Kardashians today, not
they've gotten past it. They're looked at. They're
Yeah.
looked at purely for their business success at this point.
So,
they are
the
sex tape
for
and
anything
all
else.
That. Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't think that mindset, when they have those layers of protection, I don't think she would have put herself out there. And she was there every day,
Every day.
And, I don't want to take away from the emotion, but when he won and jumped over everybody to get to her, that was as real of a love moment in every, and you can take from it what you want, but it could have been his internal "I told you so." It could have been "I'm so happy." It could have been a combination of both. That was raw emotion though. That wasn't staged. That wasn't putting on for the, and I think when you are standing up and you have to hear your fate, everything is a possibility. Everything.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can't win. Even let's just say he lost, right? And we having this conversation 18 to 36 months later because now he's out on appeal. Or he won the appeal. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the eyes of public opinion, it's 1-1. He was found guilty, but won on appeal. So if I'm still a brand, you still lost. Because, so did he, was he vindicated? Yes. Was this a money grab?
Sure.
Was this a money grab? Clearly. But
I think it's double layered. I think it's double sided because a lot of people were asking, why did he fight it? Why didn't he just take the 6 months instead of the 20 years? Because even people after the fact, even when he's found not guilty, they're still like, yeah, but I wouldn't have took that chance though. Like, I'm happy that nigga didn't have to do it, but I still wouldn't have did that shit. I would have just took the 6 months, especially with Rihanna being my billionaire baby mama. Like, you don't need the money really. You know what I'm saying? As far as the deals and the endorsements or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So why would he do that? I think it's twofold. One, because like you said, it's a money grab because homie had mad text messages, you know what I'm saying, with chicks and all these people saying, yeah, I'm gonna be rich soon and I'm gonna be living on an island once this, you know what I'm saying? So he was basically bragging, on the fact that he set Rocky up to be sued, basically. And all these text messages proved that, essentially. It didn't prove that, but it definitely painted a picture of him, being, somebody who was trying to do a money grab. Extortion, basically. You know what I'm saying? And so there's that side of it. But then also, you got to think, A$AP Rocky legally owns guns and lives in Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? If he's found guilty on this and he does that 6 months, he can't own guns anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So you
that's
got to
true.
fight it on that ground too, because if you do want to actually, let's say for example, it was a prop gun. Let's just say, you know what I'm saying? It's a real looking prop gun that he brought to scare the nigga. I highly, anybody watching this, I highly advise against that. Don't ever do that. You know what I'm saying? But let's just say, for example, that's what happened. Then I want to be able to keep the real heat in my house, so that way if somebody breaks in, somebody finds out my address, you know, niggas is crazy, especially when it comes to celebrities. Rihanna's my baby mama. She maybe had stalkers before. I need to be able to keep guns in this crib. So I have to fight this case in order to be able to continue to protect my family. Like it could be that also. You know what I'm saying? Bodyguards ain't around 24 hours. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? They might be outside, but niggas sleep at some point. You get what I'm saying? Like you're
break-ins in
not
LA are real.
always being
Yeah, and
watched.
I was just about to bring that up too. Yeah, he's probably thinking of the break-in aspect in LA because of how much it happens out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the homeless population's going up, and then you know what I'm saying, with the job situation being all crazy right now. Like shout out to my cousin. I won't say his name, but shout out to my cousin. He just lost his job with the government because of all the wild shit going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how many government jobs are in California? You know what I'm saying? People done lost their jobs, and now a certain percentage of them are going to become homeless. People get desperate and they do shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that ain't
Right.
Rockingham's fault. So yeah, you got to be able to protect yourself. I need these guns. So I see a lot of different reasons actually, from an actual practical standpoint, beyond
Like,
just I want to protect my deals. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
but I mean, that even I'm gonna tell you this, even with your significant other, like that's a difficult conversation to have. You
Yeah.
know, I ain't gonna say it's a hard it's a difficult conversation because I can feel some type of way, I can know the truth, I can be able to prove, but if it goes wrong on some technicality, and let's not also forget that, you know, the scales of justice are not always in our favor.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, oh my God, I got him, and I can stick it to him. No, you can have all of the evidence, all of this, and nigga, you know what? You filed this brief, and it should have had a semicolon, and you used a period. For that, we're gonna have to throw it out. So, you have
Real
any
shit.
other? Do you have anything else other than what you just, because you filed that incorrectly? So, what else? Well, that was the case. Oh, well, now you can't use that part of the, you know. So this ain't like, you know, and that's another reason, because I don't want to get off topic again, but paperwork matters. You know, we've seen that with the whole BMF thing and all that. First of all, what was being typed about you can follow you. So if he was to
It
plead,
always follows you.
yeah. So if he was to plead, just think, and even from a street credibility standpoint, you said it was a prop gun, and you own a real gun. So why would you go show up with a prop gun and you own a real gun if you really had a problem? What kind of weak ass shit is that? Like,
That's why nobody believed it, because
Yeah.
nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like now that the trial's over, we can say it, but that's why nobody believed that shit. Everybody was like, okay, that's a weak ass defense, bro, because like nobody would do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck
Yeah,
you
it
doing?
sounded unimaginable to begin with.
Yeah. If
because
you're
you
going
can.
somewhere to meet up with somebody you got a real problem with, you're not bringing a fake gun. You're
Because if
either
I'm,
bringing nothing
yeah,
or a real gun. You know what I'm saying?
imagine me at the mall and one of them TikTokers do a prank with a prank gun, but I
You
don't
blow
know
their
it's a
head
prank,
off.
and I blow their head off, and they're like, "Oh, it's a blank." Do you believe that I'm going to be prosecuted for first degree murder? No, I had every intent that was a real gun.
You won't be. Guess what? There's an example of that. That
Really?
happened at a restaurant. It was a nigga that walked in a restaurant and started robbing people, and he had a prop gun. He was in Texas, his dumbass. I don't know why he did this shit in Texas, of all
That's
places,
the
but
last.
that's the last place you want to do that shit in. And this nigga walks into a restaurant, starts robbing people at gunpoint with a fake gun. Somebody in the back of the restaurant pulls out a real gun, claps him, knocks his noodles out of his head, walks up to him, picks up the gun, and he goes, "God damn it, it's a fake gun."
Wow.
So you just got killed over a fake gun. And yeah, that dude got off, of course, because everybody thought that was a real gun that you was robbing him with. So yeah, don't play with fake guns, kids.
Now,
Like,
I will say,
yeah, don't
in
do
that
that.
example, I do know another case because they had it was either a bank robbery or something happened here. It's still, even though the gun is not real, it's still considered armed robbery.
Yeah,
because you had the illusion of a gun or a firearm.
mm-hmm.
You know that it's still considered armed robbery. So
yep.
even
I
though
know a dude. I used to work with a dude who was robbing banks, and he got caught one morning. Like, he just didn't show up to work, and we was like, "Damn!" Like, he's always like one of the main ones who'll be slightly early. Like, he's definitely on time. You know, he ain't call out. Like, this is strange. You know what I'm saying? Nigga was on the news like later that day. You know what I'm saying, for robbing banks, and that's exactly what he was doing. He ain't have a gun. He was just sticking his hand in his shirt like that and making it look like he was holding a gun. You know what I'm saying? And threatening the bank tellers, like, "Give me all the cash." You know what I'm saying? "Don't hit the button." Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? And enough of them didn't hit the button, and he was like on a spree. He was doing this shit for like weeks, apparently, or months, possibly.
Wow.
And eventually somebody hit the button on his ass. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't have a gun, so still got armed robbery for that shit though.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it'd be some crazy criminal crime stories. It
Yeah,
really
man.
would. But like,
Yeah, for sure.
could you? Personal question:
Right.
what amount of time could you gamble your future? Like, so 6 months versus 20 years. Could you do that? Would you fight that?
So it ultimately depends. Could I fight that? Is that what you're just asking?
So we're all Shane. You're under whatever charges we have. We're gonna, if you plead this out,
Yeah,
you would do 6 months. But if you plead it out, you're gonna be a felon for life, and you're gonna lose X, Y, and Z, and 1, 2, and 3. But you know.
You know what, bro? Like, honestly, the way the climate is right now, and the way 2025 looks, and the way it's looking, I don't think I could do it today.
No,
I don't think I could do it. I think I'd have to fight it. Like, I don't even think I could take the 6 months with a felony on my record, because it's already so hard to get a job and so hard to get in an apartment, and like, from a practical standpoint, F on your record,
yeah,
that
that's
makes it bad for you. So, like, nah, I gotta fight it. Even if it's 20 years, even if I'm facing the 20, like, because at that point it's like, well, fuck it, like, you know what I'm saying? Because if you got an F on your record, like, you damn near in prison on the streets anyway.
Was Trump in office when this started?
As far as what?
Like, was he in office?
I mean, it kind of depends on how you look at it.
Early in his presidency that it did, because I feel like I easily feel like if this trial was 6 months later, it has a greater percentage to have a different outcome. I'm not saying the outcome would be different, but like you said, you know, they were offering him 6 months, you know, and he, you know, but if we're starting the trial, let's say October, after everything that we've heard in this political climate that we're in.
Yeah.
I just feel like where ASAP was, I feel like a high 85, 90 that I'm gonna be, you know, get off. I feel like that's almost reversed to an extent. Like, it's almost like 60-40, or, you know, I just feel like I think his percentage is still great. I just don't feel like it's as great.
Why though? Why do you feel that way?
I just feel like I don't feel like the courts are going to be the resource or salvation that people are looking for. I think so. the one thing about, you know, the climate that we're in,
Yeah.
people feel embodied to do more of, to go again. I got it to him. You know what? What was Riley? Was this name Riley? Really? Let's just say, for some strange reason, someone, you know what? We're gonna fight for him. We're gonna make sure that people like ASAP Rocky doesn't get to belittle him, doesn't get to trample all over him. You know, now he becomes a political tool almost.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And the resources of it, we've seen how things can get skewed in public eye. You know, they said he went to the gun range and picked up the slugs, but you know what? God-given American right doesn't have the Second Amendment that he had to protect himself from the. It can be spun, and now you like what? Now Rachel Maddow is talking about this shit on MSNBC.
Yeah.
And now they're talking about it totally illogically, and you're sitting back there like, how are they even spinning this?
Versus like, oh yeah, we kind of knew where it is. He didn't really have, you know, it's still, you know, it has the sprinklings of the same thing kind of with the Megan Tory Lanez. Because what you could prove and what was said and then what we heard and what was rumored, like were so left
all
right.
over the place.
Right. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even to this day right now, no one can honestly debate what happened. If I ask you, if I say between Tory Lanez and what happened in the car, just tell like no one knows. Even today, no one has because even the stories amongst themselves, what was proven,
it all changed so many times. It kept changing.
So, and that case was under every microscope from both sides.
Yeah. The most we know about that is what happened when they all got out of the car, and even that's still a little fuzzy.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, that's what I'm just saying. I just think, like, you know, like I said, I'm glad that it worked out for him. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that, you know, he's free. I'm glad he didn't take the hit. I just don't know if you had that same trial 6 months, because like I said, you honestly don't know who can do what, who can say what, who can support, who has an agenda behind the scenes. Like you said, with the civil suit, you know, if there was, and you know, we've seen this with lawyers too. Lawyers pick up cases to make a name for themselves.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you know what? I think I want to take on your cause and your fight pro bono because I have a legitimate gripe against this, you know? And now all of the legal, you know, now it's a battle of lawyers.
Yeah. Yeah, lawyer ideology and shit.
Right. Who's what's the dude? Who's Dirk's lawyer? NBA Youngboy's lawyer.
Same nigga. For both
I know
of
what's name. Yeah, I don't know his name.
I don't know his name either.
But that's the closest to Johnny Cochran we got.
Yeah, he killing it. He killing it.
I mean, for real, like, you get who else you can't say, oh, call him, you know, who there isn't, because the lawyer system now is so screwed.
Yeah.
Who do you call to actually like prove your case? Like, you know what? I did not do this.
Right. No, I feel you. Well, yeah, shout out to ASAP, you know what I'm saying, for beating the case, for sure. Eric, give me some
you think Rihanna gave him some the same night?
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
For sure.
Right after court.
You think right after court?
Right after court.
Oh, yeah.
Right back to the crib. Let's go. I need to celebrate.
That's why he was hugged. That was the whole jump. Like,
that's why he in the courtroom. Fuck you talking about?
Right.
Not guilty. Come here. You know what I'm saying? He was trying.
Give me one moment.
Yeah, you feel me? About to have some new charges in that bitch.
Can I use your chambers?
shout out to the discovery artists that Eric mentioned earlier. You know what I'm saying? And if you yourself are an artist and you're looking to fund your career, please make sure to click on the link below this video for Shock the Culture, Shock Your Pockets. That program, essentially, it allows artists to make money for themselves so that they can fund their own career as a side away from however you already make your money. You know what I mean? So it's not really going to take you too much extra time, but it will put some extra money in your pockets. They have a whole system. Click on the link, click on the website, make sure that, you know, you look at the reviews, look at the other artists who have already used the program and are making money themselves. You know what I mean? There's plenty of testimonials on there. And, you know, check out the episode of Entreprenegros right here on Ethos Media Network, where they break down the whole program for us. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Eric, ASAP, give me some ASAP Rocky hits. Give me some of your favorites, man. You know, I'm relying on you a little bit more in this room. My first taste of what his music was like was the song Bass off of
Yep.
Long Live ASAP, I think.
Yep,
Or
that is
Live
the one.
Love ASAP. Long Live ASAP, yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, I know he made that really confusing because one, the debut mixtape is Live Love ASAP, and then the debut album is Long Live ASAP. So yeah, very, very close together. But that was pretty much right around the same time that I heard him too. That was right when that like Dat Piff live mixtapes era, like if you were a new rapper coming up and you were kind of just had like a movement behind you, you were easily able to pop off from those websites. And that was pretty much the first time I heard him too, with the record Bass. He had Peso on there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of I'm actually pulling that up right now just because that's such an old project. But that is his debut mixtape. That's pretty much where I first heard him. If you heard the song "Brand New Guy" with Schoolboy Q, to me that was when I first discovered that I really liked the duo between Rocky and Q at that time. It felt like whenever those guys came together, it just felt like they never really missed. He had Purple Swag on here. He had Keep It G. This is, you know, right around that time when he was really getting that like Houston influence sound, but like it was different because he was a New York artist. So I knew a lot of people didn't really know how to like take to that at first because the sound influence of where he came from was so different than really anything New York related that was going on around that time. So I just feel like that was something that people had to get used to. And then he kind of was able to kind of shift the narrative a little bit because then you get to his debut album, you get to Long Live ASAP. And then that's when he's able to kind of show off the more artist side of him that had kind of started to come up around this era. So on this, you have another Schoolboy Q collab on here that did really well. Pussy Money Weed, All I Really Need. This is the album that Fucking Problems was on with 2 Chainz, Drake, and Kendrick, which it's really funny to even bring up that record now just because of everything that's currently going on. You got probably one of, around this time, I would say probably one of the best posse cuts out there. You got One Train with Action Bronson, Big Crit, Danny Brown, Joey Badass, Kendrick Lamar, and Yellow. And again, just to kind of go back to that Dat Piff era time, this is like when all of those guys were like really coming up around the same time, and their followings were really strong, and their music was really carrying a lot of the sound around this time. Like this is when that like the Big Sean's, Currencies, like I've talked about this era before on here before, but yeah, just right around that time, that's when everybody I feel like was kind of on their A game because all these guys were still pretty new around the same time, but it felt like they had something to prove. And then if you I just thinking about ASAP Rocky's category, I think he has a song that is one of those timeless records that when it goes off in the club, everybody is gonna go off to it a little bit, and that song is Lord Pretty Flacco Jody too. I think just the cadence that he decided to rap in on that song, like the "Who the jiggy nigga with the gold links." Got me reminiscing about my old day, 3-6 suck a nigga dick, no fall play all day, booming out the trap in the hallway. Like he was just able to set the tone uh behind like that really crazy ass beat that he decided to get on, and that's one of those joints where to me it's like it became timeless because of how much like DJs and shit like that started to play it around this time, like at different clubs, different festivals, like all that different type of shit. So I just think in the grand scheme of things, Rocky doesn't necessarily have to work as hard nowadays as putting out the music, because he does have a few timeless joints where if you play them, it's gonna go off at the parties every time. And then obviously, Rocky has I would say he has a pretty nice category or album category. Like he's
Catalog.
still got, yeah, thank you. That was the word I was looking for. He's got Testing. He's got the re-release of Live Love ASAP, and then the one that is on the way that should be coming out this year, which should be called Don't Be Dumb. And I think I definitely think that the case now will put a lot of eyes on him that I think maybe you weren't necessarily checking for Rocky like in 2025, just because it's been so long since he's put out any music. But I think now, because of what he's went through in this trial and him successfully beating it the way that it played out, I think a lot more people are going to be interested to hear what he's going to say, because it's not just going to be the same braggadocious fashion killer, my lady is bad type music. Like it's going to be like possibly be a lot more substantive than that. So I'm curious to see if he explores those themes and dives into those themes at all. But I think it is a very interesting time for him if he is going to be putting out this Don't Be Dumb album. So I'd say still pretty successful career for Rocky, all things considered. And if he does drop this year, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. One of my favorite verses by him is his verse on Danny Brown's Kush Coma, from the old album. And it's not really that he says anything crazy dope or anything like that. It's more so his flow. You know what I mean? Yeah, he just has a dope flow on it, and it's kind of a crazy beat because it's very EDM influenced. You know what I mean? Danny Brown was rapping on a lot of EDM and like electronic sounding type beats at the time, and like the whole back half of the old album actually was that type of stuff. The first half was all like boom bap records, and then the second half was like hyped up electro EDM type shit. So ASAP was on one of those type of joints. So the flow that he caught on it, just sounds dope. So get high, my niggas smoke kush, get fly, my niggas dope looks. So many numbers in my phone book. I can start a motherfucking phone book. No, all the fly bitches gone look like I'm on something. Tell them roll something. I'm that one nigga bumping two pop like I'm three. Be like three hoes. That's a foursome. Fuck niggas always want to hold some. Young nigga, hot nigga froze on them. Done went cold on them. Beat the golds on them and the clothes on them. See the hoes on them. Only fear God. Never sold on them. Man, I swear to God, I put my soul on them. Like, it just sounds dope. You know what I'm saying? And then the way the beat is building during some of those patches, because there's not a lot of like snares on the track. It's a lot of kicks and like build up and shit like that during the verses. You know what I mean? That like get somewhere. It like builds to like a big crescendo. You know what I mean? So that's always one of my go-to ASAP verses. I'm also partial to Danny Brown. You know what I'm saying? But no, I definitely I like anytime that kind of group collabs, like that Black Hippie, ASAP, Danny Brown. Really it was just him because they didn't really do much with like Dopehead or anybody like that. But when Danny Brown would link with those guys, like I always like those collabs. So like One Train, like you said, that's one of my favorite joints. They Rocky's nice, man. Rocky's nice. I actually think he's underrated because of how much he focuses on the fashion and stuff like that. Like people, I don't think he gets enough credit for being a good rapper. Like he's not the craziest nigga on earth, but he's nice. Like
The thing about Rocky is that he is really good at that. Kind of, you said that kind of on about the last song. He's really good with the flow that he's mastered. There's certain niggas that they don't say the craziest shit all the time, but if they can master a good flow and pretty much keep that going consistently, it's gonna help out. It's gonna help out in the long run to me. And for me, that's kind of where Rocky shines. It's not really what he says so much all the time, but his flow, he's carved it out perfectly for himself.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go a completely different route. I'm gonna, because I got it's an article from his Billboard numbers, if you will, because you said something that I'm gonna touch on. So first of all, Rocky's only song where he's not having a feature that was in the top 10, which was, and it peaked at number 8, was in 2012, was Fucking Problems, featuring Drake, 2 Chainz, and Kendrick Lamar. Spent 27 weeks on the Billboard 100. It peaked at number 8, right? G-Eazy No Limit, which peaked at number 4, is featuring A$AP Rocky and Cardi B. Number 5, Selena Gomez featuring A$AP Rocky. Pick It Up, Famous Dex featuring A$AP Rocky. And Wild for the Night, that's featuring Skillerix. So
let me pause on that one. I think that one is actually, that song I have to just put an asterisk on. And the only reason I say that is because it's technically a Skrillex song, yes, but he doesn't rap. He made the beat. A$AP Rocky's the only rapper on that song. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
either way, it only peaked at 80. But when you numbers wise, he's definitely getting his shine because of the fashion. It's not the flow is not carrying him. It's definitely it's not a see this is the problem when niggas get into fashion. We automatically think of the great people who've done it. We think of LL Cool J. We think of Kanye. We think of Pharrell. When a nigga gets into a hell, the Buddha nigga,
Kevin Gates.
No, the old nigga with Buddha.
I don't know. Like nigga
said Kevin Gates.
Oh fuck! What was that nigga? Him and Rick Rubin.
Russell Simmons.
Russell Simmons. Yeah, I couldn't think of it. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. When we think of we think of that. So, what does A$AP Rocky do with fashion?
And that's the thing.
That's a great point, honestly.
That's the thing. So, to everyone who you mentioned, this is why I say I feel like he's underrated as a rapper, because he's looked at so much as a fashion dude, right? So in a way, you made my point for me by bringing up all those guys.
Okay.
Everybody that you just brought up solidified themselves in music almost as legends before they went to fashion. Every single one of them. LL was a legend before he ever started wearing FUBU. And that wasn't his brand. You know what I'm saying? But we'll give him that one, though. You know what I'm saying? He was already LL at that point, because that was mid-90s. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. Russell Simmons with Fat Farm. He built Def Jam, signed LL, you know what I'm saying? Signed Run DMC and shit. He was already Russell before Fat Farm came into play. Same with Diddy and Sean John. Same with who else had clothes at the time? Jay-Z and Rockaware and Dame and them. They was already Jay-Z and Dame Dash and them before Rockaware was a thing. You get what I'm saying? Like, for real. before he dipped into fashion. We was already calling him Skateboard P, and we was saying almost as fans, he should come out with a clothing line because he wears Bape and all of this shit. And then he came out with ice creams, but he was already for real at that point. So my point is, everybody basically solidified themselves as legends, and I'm using that word for a reason. Like, not just solidified in music, but legends in music before they moved over to fashion. Whereas Rocky, I don't think has solidified himself as a legend up to this point in music. You know what I'm saying? He's a highly ranked rapper, I would say, in the overall, grand scheme of things. But I don't think he's a legend per se. I don't think he's done enough musically to be considered a legend because of the numbers that you just said, Marcus. But I think part of that is because he came in the game kind of focused on mad different shit. Like, you asked what he does fashion-wise. Essentially, he's a runway model. Like, he's a male model, essentially. Like, I don't think he has his own clothing line or anything like that. But, I mean, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong. If maybe he does, but...
I mean...
You get what I'm saying? No, it's not like Rihanna has...
It's more like merch. It's more like merch and shit like that. I wouldn't say go full, like, blown and say
like, you're not going to the mall to buy the A$AP Rocky shit out of Macy's.
No, you're copping everything offline.
There you go. You know what I'm saying? So he's more of like a fashion... I don't want to, I guess, icon, for the lack of a better term. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's known...
a male fashionista.
He was the dude that...
basically, he's a male... that's actually what it is.
Because that makes more sense, too, because that's how he came into the game, too. Like, it's like when he came into the game, when he was, when people were discovering that he was a rapper, niggas already knew him for the fashion shit because of different type of shit that he used to wear back then that was, like, it was, like super exclusive type shit that, like, only certain niggas had at the time. So... if he was wearing it, it was looked at as like a big deal.
And you got to remember, being from Harlem, you know what I'm saying? That's always like one of their things. Like, Cameron prided himself on having niggas wearing pink for, a year or whatever it was, you know what I'm saying? Like, and, like, that's a very Harlem thing to be fashion forward and to be known as somebody who's fashion forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, not just being fashion forward, but to, like, have that be part of your character almost. Like, he's a rapper and a fashion guy. Like, that, those things go hand in hand almost when you're from Harlem. So it's like, so I think that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my opinion. Like, I think, because when I take all that shit away and I'm listening to just, like, from a technical skill aspect, I think he's nice. So that's why I'm like,
no. I'm not saying his skill level is diminished.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, to me, it gives less mainstream artists more people's champ artists, because he does have fans, he does have a following, but it's not necessarily based or rooted in the bars.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, I can see why you say that.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. That was my point.
Mad at that. All right, fellas. Well, shout out to Rocky, shout out to Rihanna, shout out to their two children. You know what I'm saying? Rocky gone and get engaged, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Gone and throw a ring on that. Stop bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what you waiting on, bro, but go ahead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, trial over now. Go ahead and focus on that.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck you're waiting on, sir. We ain't heard the news yet, but that's crazy. Like, that should have been, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why but you're definitely doing the right thing getting her pregnant twice, you feel me? But go on and throw that ring on there, you know what I mean? Other than that, this is your boy Shane G.
You think they signed a prenup?
Well, they're not married, so they ain't no prenup to sign yet.
No. Do you think Rihanna's gonna make him sign a prenup?
Make him sign a prenup. Ooh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, if he asks her to, she definitely has to ask for a prenup.
She's got to be the one, because she
has to be the one.
Probably though, yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, she's a billionaire.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yes, I would imagine. Yeah, that she would make him sign a prenup for sure.
Probably.
Yo,
But that's the thing. Like, he's not gonna be offended at that. He's gonna be like, "Yeah, I get it. Yes, I'm signing. I don't give a fuck."
Right.
if he didn't know, I believe he could go above Future. If he didn't and marries Rihanna, he would instantly surpass. He would surpass Future in a way that would be like, you remember when Jeff Bezos got divorced?
Mm.
He was so rich that he made her the richest woman.
Yep.
Right.
Not just on the list. You're at the top of the list.
Yep.
That's the same. That yeah.
She became the world's richest woman the second that she divorced him. Yep.
And ASAP.
Nobody
Rocky,
should have that much money, by the way. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, but ASAP Rocky, if he was to divorce Rihanna, would have to change it to ASAP City Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might have to.
And Future could do nothing about it.
That's funny as hell.
On that note, you know what I'm saying? Rocky, marry that woman. This is the Bar Exam. Like, share, subscribe for all the latest content. Please tune in next week. You know, check out the last episodes, the previous episodes, you know, subscribe to the playlist, you know what I mean? That way you don't have to, you know, necessarily you know, be trying to tune in every day and see when everything's dropping, you know, because we know look at everything.
Started breaking up real bad.
Bro, did you freeze up?
Yeah, it started breaking up real bad at the end.
Did it really?
Yeah, like no, like you were doing
It was
an air
clear than a
guitar.
motherfucker on my side. I don't know, like.
And then I hope the recording came through, but in case
Yeah, I hope so. Well, anyway,
Right.
This is the Bar Exam, and you know, peace.
There you go.